You know, I always struggled with reading. If I open a book, I'll read 1 or 2 pages, be daydreaming about something else, not know what I've read. And so to me, reading my whole life has been pointless. I had all these insecurities at school for reading because I wasn't a good reader. And so school was a lot of stress and anxiety, because if we had to go to a class and we had to read out in front of the class, I knew it was going to be embarrassing. How did it come about? I didn't ever think that I had ADHD. I'd gone to see a psychologist about bits of depression where I felt like I wasn't being able to keep up with life in general, and as soon as I'd struggled to keep up with what I thought was general life, I'd kind of find myself getting a bit depressed. And not heavy depression, not suicidal or anything, but just mild depression. And this was probably 6 years ago. So he kind of diagnosed that I had ADHD, but then tried to treat the symptoms with an antidepressant, which is really gnarly. You weaning myself on for 3 months to this medication, and it just slowed everything down. And I have a lot going on. I like things busy, and this just kind of took away a lot of my drive and what I work for. So I stopped taking this medication and didn't really think about it again. And that was my first kind of experience with ADHD. Then coming into January in 25, taking over the whole team and dealing with all the athlete contracts and sponsorship contracts and logistics and everything, I was just really struggling. It's been a time when everything was coming on, everything was just on top of me. And it was this whole team, 6 riders, I was at boiling point. I just somehow I just couldn't land any of these things. It got me thinking, maybe I should readdress this ADHD and see what it's all about. A couple of weeks prior, I'd listened to a podcast with this neuroscientist. ADHD was one of the disorders that he highly recommended to medicate. And this kind of got me thinking a bit about it. Through my time, I'd bumped into a doctor who specializes in ADHD, so I went straight to him, did all these tests, and he was like, this is something that you definitely have. Don't know how you haven't been living without medication, but we need to medicate it. I was happy to try and go for the medication, yeah. I don't like taking medication, but I had a lot of comfort to say that this is something that's probably best to medicate. And so we started this trial, and straight away it was like a new world. I was able to just focus and get things done. And so I'm reading this book now, and it's written for someone with ADHD, which is written completely different. And the way the pages and sentences are all structured, and gaps between words and lines, everything's completely different. And then I reflect back into my school days, and I always struggled with reading, and all of a sudden I'm reading like a boss.
Yeah. One thing you gonna learn about me, ain't nobody putting word like me. Can't drip, can't sauce like me. Whipping it up, I'm a major key.
I guess the depression that I'd led to previous times was all created from not being able to just finish tasks and finish stuff that was pretty basic to most people. And so I had all these loose ends floating around that just created a lot of stress and anxiety, and that once medicated, it seemed to smooth all this out.
I'm limitless, I ain't got no limit, yeah that's right. Yeah, I'm limitless, I ain't got no limit, yeah that's right. Yeah, I'm limitless.
43 to be diagnosed with ADHD is probably a little old, but at the same time it was such a change for me, and for the good, a good change, a good adjustment. I look back and then I can see there's times where it's definitely shown you can hyperfocus, but you can also hyperfocus on the wrong thing. If I look into my racing, I don't think it really affected my racing as such, but it definitely affected the processes of getting to the start line. Those are just things that I've noticed as I learn and figure things out myself, that I've looked back and gone, oh, that's could be slightly different, a little more control if I probably was medicated.
ADHD traits you now see in other riders, and how do you support or coach them differently?
Yeah, all the riders are they've all got it. You know, I really struggled in racing when there was like a lot of pressure. I knew I needed to dig myself into a position. You know, maybe I had a bad start to the season and there was a lot of pressure for me to race, and then something would happen that was out of my control, and then I would spiral on it. And I just couldn't let it go because I was so focused into trying to eliminate it. My attention would be on it. I wouldn't be able to fix it. And not great organization, planning going around. And it would just spiral me down into this like really very intense kind of situation, and a lot of the times explode, just not know like how to get out of it. I reckon I would have enjoyed racing a lot more, because the stressful moments and the moments where I was, you know, it looked quite calm on the external, but the internal was a whirlwind of procrastination and trying to get to the right place, and negativity and all this emotion as well, because you don't manage emotion well. It's quite a storm going on in your head, but on the external you look all calm. And so maybe that's why people go, oh, you handle pressure really well. And it's like, well, maybe it looks that way, but turning on the inside, it's definitely not. Yeah, I think it'd be good if we spoke more about neurodiversity. There's a lot of stigmatism attached to it, and we've got a great community, and it's a lot easier to speak in your community than to speak out. And I don't think it's spoken about enough. But my life changed. You know, I was able to find the problem. And it made my life a lot easier, and I'd hate for someone to, there's no reason for someone to struggle for something that's so there's a solution for. And maybe that's why I would like it to be spoken about a bit more. And it really changed my life for the positive in so many different ways.